Well, hello there, everybody. Man, I tell you what, jamming out to a little bit of war. Yeah. Woo. God, yeah, I love that group. Great suggestion, Blazing River. Thank you. So, what's up, everybody? Good to see you on this happy prosperity day. Well, hopefully in ours. I don't know about the rest of the world. That's another topic we'll be talking about later. But anyway, so let's see if all the streams are like working okay. And there I am. Hey, Steiger, here's a word from the future. The weather's beautiful, dude. All right. So I got that straight. Always like to send myself a little message in the box, so to speak. It's fun because we truly are time traveling beings. As anyone can attest to, the older you get, the faster time goes. Yeah. So, hey, chat room. And speaking of which, speaking favor over us all, nothing missing, nothing broken. You speak it long enough, it happens. And that's what throws a whole monkey wrench into the whole equation. We love doing that. F. Kitty, good to see you. EG's good to see you. Hello, Linda Espinosa. Much love to you, darling. Lost in Space. Hello, Nina. How are you, my dear? Good to see you, Jargo, Emperor Rex, Blazing River, as I said. Yeah, good music. I mean, that Gypsy Man is like, yeah. And then anyway, Grace, what's up? Good to see you. And new. I got the book, Wayne. Excellent, excellent. So, how was your end and beginning of the week? Since technically Monday is the second day of the week. Hey, go, all the way from Croatia. How are you doing? Good to see you. Love, joy, wellness message. Another beautiful start of the week. Yeah, I'm kind of like that. Weather's perfect. I mean, I know down in Australia, as I understand, there's certain parts down there that's damn hot. So, hey, we'll send you our coolness and vice versa. Let's see what else. Robert V, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Rick, hello, Jules. What's up? Good to see you as well. I'm having surgery tomorrow. Please send some good vibes. All right. We'll just say, hey, you got the energy and the glow. I mean, but the energy, speak to those surgeons, let them be at the top of their game. There was a paper I read once. When is the best time to have surgery done? Apparently in the morning. Yeah. Anyway, S. Lee, what's up? Gaia, hello. How's Paul? Good to see you. Such a lovely group. I mean, this is like having Christmas 24/7, 365 days a week. It truly is. It's a blessing. Counters the curse. Boy, we're going to talk about that because, boy, stuff's happening, folks. It just is. And we can't pretend that what's coming is not coming because that's foolish. Um, you know, to be forewarned is to be forearmed. And all the indicators, everything, it's already happening, is just, we've been studying about this curse thing. Thank you for the emails. I mean, it's a topic that apparently many are liking. I had one person write, you're clearing the fog. Well, good, glad to hear that. But something's with our planet. We read last week, and we're going to continue to get into that the God of this world, whoever that God is, had a conversation with someone that, wow, they were not ready to hear this concept. They weren't having any part of it. That's cool. But We read that the God of this world, who is a supposedly perfect being, a God of perfect love, uses curses. That's just weird. I could have titled this, using curses to get the blessing. Okay, now I'm totally confused. Where are we heading on this one? And you could say that confusion is a curse. Well, in fact, you can say that. It's exactly what that book they call the Bible, it's exactly what it says. It says confusion brings in every kind of evil and curse. Lynn and I were talking over breakfast over the weekend, and she says, when you stop to think about this, everything is attached to this. You can't get away from it. You can live in a protective sphere, but that sphere has to be designed to reverse the curse, right? Well, if you got favor in your life, that reverses, I would dare say, all of them. The question is, if you were cursed and didn't know it, you'd still be cursed, right? What say you in the chat room, you beautiful souls? Hello, Super Galactic. What kind of God goes around cursing people? A God that wants to control people. Mia thinketh you be right. And this is a great segue. So I like bringing stuff to where it's condensed. You don't have to go, well, I thought I saw it somewhere. Well, here we go. So confusion, right? Confusion is, you could say, a curse, a part of the curse. I don't think it is the curse, because it's very clear that where confusion is, it's very difficult, let's say, to make a wise decision. That's why I contend that every government worldwide is failing. It's just the truth. Of course, truth is relative, right? But what we can say, added to that with a caveat, and in a state of confusion. I don't know any government in the world that's not in this total state of confusion. The decisions that are being made are absolutely asinine, anti-human. Makes you think how many non-humans are in politics, in positions in government, companies, churches. I mean, it's very clear that if you say that this is human, well, you really have to discuss and go, well, wait a minute. What do you mean? If humans are doing this to each other, isn't that technically a state of confusion? I mean, why would you want to entrap? Why would you want to control? Why would you want to take prisoner, slave? What would be the purpose of that? It's a sick concept to think that a government, an ideology, a religion could become so supreme in our limited thinking and to damn with everything else. It's total control. Every aspect of your life. Really? That's human? How is that human? Watched a movie on Amazon Prime. Maybe many of you've seen it. The Man from Earth. Oh, man. Buying that movie. I would really suggest y'all, if you get a chance, go watch it. So the Man from Earth. Totally. I mean, Lynn is sitting there and we're both looking. She said, holy crap. She said, sweetheart, this is like everything you've been doing, everything where we've come to. And if you haven't seen it, I'll just give you some of the background. It's well acted. All of the actors are well known. You've seen them in hundreds of other TV series and movies. Great group. And the setting is that this professor is leaving the university. And so all of his colleagues are coming over kind of to send him off. And so they're all there gathering and waiting for the furniture people to come to take the furniture. And the main person in the movie says, well, so there is something I want to tell you. And so these are all academics, right? He says, I'm over 40,000 years old. Actually, he says, from what I've learned, I'm actually probably a Cro-Magnon. And folks, the whole scene gets set up. And what he says is that we are cursed. Homo sapiens. It comes down to one of the most crucial factors of the modern culture about this Jesus, because he is the Jesus, but not like most people are thinking. Watch it. You will love it. It's called The Man from Earth. It's on Amazon Prime. I'm sure it's on others. But I'm telling you, folks, it's intense. Oh, man, it really gets intense. In fact, it's one of those movies that's so intense. Lynn and I were watching it. You know, it hits you. What do you believe? Why do you believe it? Do you believe that those who taught you to believe what you believe, that they believed it as well? Was what you were taught to believe, was it in fact truth? How was that truth determined from those who taught you that? And who taught them? And why do it? And who taught them? You find out in this movie is that we are creatures of amnesia. We're amnesiacs. I did a video on that 6 years ago. We are a species that is in a state of amnesia. We cannot remember who and what we are, why we're here, what was the purpose, how do we get here? Now, you would think that a species that is supposedly the epitome of the intelligence of sentience consciousness, that it would know its beginnings. And if you don't know our beginning, how the hell can you tell me what our end is? So we invent this thing because we're cursed. See, there's truth within every strand that's out there of thought, ideology, theology, philosophy. And within those strands, if you can begin to pull them together, you begin to see that it isn't anything like we've been taught. So to keep us into a state of confusion, if this is simply a curse, then again, who's in control? But to be cursed means to be circumvented by a higher power or authority, right? It's altering. If magic is altering reality, then you could say whoever this being was that initiated this curse was using magic. So if humans, why are we doing this? And if it's not, then something else or someone else is in control. It could be very well said that within every government, there is most likely non-humans. Now that gets a little weird because you say, well, we're the only ones here. Who said that? Who said that? Show me a specific reference that says that that is fact. I want to see it from an academic. Don't give me your philosophy or your theology. Show me from an academic where that is truth, where that is fact. It's not. Truth is, we don't know really what is human. We're still trying to figure that out. It's like we're trying to figure out gravity. We see the effects, we just don't know how the hell it works. Curses, then. If curses are real, which they appear to be, then we've got some real obvious curses. What would you say debt is? I'd say that that was a curse. And, you look at some of this stuff, and let me get over here. Hello. Hey, Steiger, how you doing, buddy? Let's go over here, and let's get a little dose of reality. You see this? In the last 90 days, we've added $1 trillion to this, and we're about to add another trillion. Folks, this is a curse. And why would so-called humans that are in positions of government, House of Representatives, Senate, the executive branch, the judicial branch, why would they conspire to enslave, to curse those whom they say they represent? This is hardcore reality. This house of cards is all coming down, folks. But no one wants to talk about this. Nah. We like to go on to more happier things. Well, okay, fine. But it's a curse. It's a curse. No denying it. It's a curse. It's a curse. Yes, it is. It's a terrible curse. It sucks. We teach our children about curses. In this researching this out, I came across this interesting. It was a lesson course, Bible course number 2, Sunday school, to teach, get this, when minds are most impressionable. And that discovery thing, 8 and 9-year-olds. The imagination is alive, thriving, hasn't been fully reined in yet. And so what do they teach them? They teach them that they're bad. You're cursed. So here you have these young, impressionable minds who now are being assaulted. You could say it's almost a rite of initiation, because now they're going to become aware that they're cursed, and then it's going to be presented in such a manner, again, that's going to make you feel bad about yourself the rest of your life, because you'll never be able to get out from that curse. And then you're taught that the very God that created you was the one who cursed you. And then you're taught not to question that, but to merely accept that as reality. And thus reality sets in. And you and I grow up, and we may become aware, we may become awakened. I don't know. And even those that I've seen in the highest thoughts of, their thinking, their eschatology, never deal with the curse. And so the curse is ignored. The curse is never discussed, never properly dealt with. And then I can't help but not think how that curse carries over. I mean, if our actions here carry over into the next realm, then wouldn't that be logical? Sure, it would be. So you carry over a curse. Because how do you fight God? How do you fight that? How do you counter that? I mean, what the hell? It's like, okay, how do you do that? How do you come against this omnipotent, omnipotent, omnipresent being that just cursed your sorry ass? Told you that while you're going to be in this realm, you're going to suffer. You're going to experience death. You're going to experience disappointment. You're going to experience heartache. You're going to experience pain. And oh, we'll give you a little break now and then, a little joy, but it comes all wrapped up in a curse because you can't have and enjoy joyful experiences. You're not worthy of it. You haven't dealt with the curse. So how do you, chat room? How do you go and fight God? How do you counter a supposed divine being that's cursed you? Curse the planet that you walk on, curse the vegetation, curse the air, and then tells you that it's going to provide you a safety line out of the very curse that it cursed you with. But all governments here in the United States, the myth is that this is a Christian nation, but you can't define who that Christian God is, because how the hell do you, again, we've asked it in this group, how do you have pure love that has curse within it? And we all have our different takes on it. And when you think of confusion, the very book that fashioned, supposedly, the Declaration of Independence, the very book that was forbidden to be read, the book of curses, the book of confusion. I have a little document here that I thought was fun, because we'll just read a little bit of it. But this is what I mean by the curse. Because whether you believe in the Bible or not is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You're still cursed. And it doesn't matter whether you don't believe the story or whatever. It doesn't matter. You're in it. You can be in a swimming pool and say, well, I'm not wet. Okay, that's fine. Doesn't change anything. So this is a little book called, it's from Skeptics Cannot Be Within the Bible. 700. So let's start with this, because again, you remove the confusion. I say then you would remove, or at least begin to understand how the curse works. As I said last week, there's something there's a power, it's something deep here. It's not taught on. So this is what we base our reality on. It's there. It's everywhere I go. So God creates light. Now, I told someone just this morning while I was out that God is a God of darkness. Because if it created light, that means it was in darkness. Folks, I blew the circuit panel. I mean, I saw the glazed look. All right. So, separate light from darkness. Well, how did he create light? Now, light is what? Somehow darkness too? I mean, okay. And day from night on the first day. Yet he didn't make the light producing objects, the sun and the star, until the fourth day. What the hell's going on there? God spends 1/6 of his entire creative effort, the second day, working on a solid firmament. This strange structure, which God calls heaven, is intended to separate the higher waters from the lower waters. This firmament, if it existed, would have been quite an obstacle for our space program, for flying, period. Plants are made on the third day before there was a sun to drive their photosynthetic process. Want to explain that one to me? He made the stars also. God spends a day making light before making the stars and separating light from darkness. Then at the end of the hard day's work, and almost as an afterthought, he makes trillions of stars. And God set them in the firmament of the heavens to give light upon the earth. Really? Then why are only a tiny fraction of stars visible from the earth? Under the best conditions, no more than 5,000 stars are visible from Earth with the unaided eye. Yet there are hundreds, if billions, of stars in our galaxy and hundreds of billions or so galaxies. Yet this verse says that God put the stars in the firmament to give light. God commands us to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. This verse is used to justify Christian opposition to birth control, to concern for the environment, to the animal rights. The earth was made for humans, and they can do as they damn well please with it. That's the contract. All animals were originally herbivores. Tapeworms, vampire bats, mosquitoes, barracudas, all were strict vegetarians as they were created by God. But of course, we know now that there were carnivorous animals millions of years before the human existed. And again, watch the movie. His explanation of how sapiens got, oh man, it's just, yeah. I love the fact that someone was aware enough to actually go and create the script, and that someone had the foresight and the investment to make it. Here's a good one. God makes the animals and parades them before Adam to see if any would strike his fancy. In other words, to have sex with, to mate with. Now, folks, you got to stop and think about this. What the freak is going on here? That's what it says. And remember, this isn't that the first humans, well, we're not even sure if they were human. We know that they were created at the same time, male and female. But anyway, so now this next God, this Lord God, comes in. Adam doesn't seem to get a boner for any of them to please himself, although he was tempted to go with sheep. Hello, syphilis. After making the animals, God has Adam name them all. The naming of several million species must have kept Adam busy for a while. Truth or fiction? Because you can't believe in the damn garden story and the whole sin thing if you ain't believing this. God's clever. He made a talking serpent. God walks and talks, apparently to himself in the garden. and plays a little hide and seek with Adam and Eve. He did a little bit more with Eve. We know that. God curses the serpent. There we go. From now on, the serpent will crawl on his belly and eat dust. Time out. One has to wonder how he got around before. By hopping on his tail? Or was he bipedal? Was he human? In all of my reading, never heard where the serpent was actually human. But if it had to have been human, otherwise it could not have had relations with Eve. Or unless it was the other guy. We'll get to that. God curses the ground, causes thorns and thistles to grow. God kills some animals and makes skin coats for Adam and Eve. Cain, he's worried after killing Abel and says, "Everyone who finds me shall slay me." This is a strange concern since there were only two other humans alive at the time, supposedly his parents. But then it's crazy because Cain isn't in Adam's bloodline. Okay. And then Cain went out from the presence of the Lord. Now, we don't know if this is God or not because it's Lord capitalized. And Cain knew his wife. Okay, that means they, got to know one another. That's nice. But where the hell did she come from? I mean, seriously. I mean, what? Was it his sister? Let's see. Lamech kills a man and claims that since Cain's murderer would be punished sevenfold, whoever murders him will be punished 77-fold. God created a man and a woman, and he called their name Adam. So the woman's name was Adam too? Is any of this making any sense to y'all? But folks, this is what frames our reality here. You can deny it, but the fact of the matter is, this has had a long, bloody journey to become our reality. You didn't get to the fact that God never breathed into the woman a soul, but it also didn't ever get in the fact that in the first one, which I've explained more enough, they apparently didn't have a soul. Let's see. The first man had increasingly long lifespans, nearly 1,000 years. Then we got those sons of God coming and courting the ladies. God decides to kill all living things because the human imagination is evil. That's what it says. The human imagination. There's a key there. Later, after he kills everything, he promises never to do it again because the human imagination is evil. I just sit here and go, God, this is his only solution, huh? Or maybe it was a magnetic reversal. Maybe there was a star that was passing in the neighborhood. Nah, that doesn't sail. But any case, it goes on and on and on. And it gets even stranger as it goes. Oh, here's one that I always thought was a little odd. Let me go up in here. Because right here, God repents. To whom? He just committed mass genocide on a planetary scale. Who's he repenting to, or for what? Murder? Pepper in my tea, and it gets in the back of your throat, folks. And I'll tell you what, that's why we love pepper. But anyway, it's strange. And God was angry because the earth was filled with violence. But didn't God create the whole bloody system in the first place? Didn't he create the predator and the prey, the parasite and the host? Weren't they all designed by him? Oh, it's true that according to Genesis 1:30, God originally intended the animals to be vegetarians. But later, he changed all that, made them to where they start eating each other and meat. Okay. Weird. I'm kidding you not. So, went through that, and if you want that document, it's there. If you deal with people who are under the God spell, it really does help. Well, maybe not initially. It's like, what are you doing? So my question is then, today I see America, it's where I live. America is cursed. There's not anything going well in the United States of America. We are literally a house divided. We are now where the supposed lawmakers hurl curses. We got an old dude in the White House that curses all the time. Apparently he walks around naked at night in the White House. That would be a curse. To see that? Oh man, I don't know if you could cleanse yourself enough. I mean, you can, have the sage and the whole bit. I just saying, you see that, man, you got to go, who did I piss off? But yeah, you have a nation here where at any level there's corruption. There is something, and it can't be a blessing, that is taken over. We're being invaded right now. More people have crossed over into the United States in the last 3 years than in any war ever. That's a curse. Sickness, disease, plagues, that's a curse. Debt, that's a curse. A system where you can't believe anything coming from government, that's a curse. You have supposed human beings that have taken an oath to uphold the written law, lying, that's a curse. I asked the question earlier, how many non-human beings are in Congress, the courts, law enforcement? And then that brings into this thing that if there is this other entity, this non-human presence that is truly in control, can you sell your soul to it? Can you sell out everything that you ever so-called believed for a little piece of power, little piece of wealth, money? Because money drives this thing. Is the money cursed in itself? It would appear. I mean, if you print on your money, "In God we believe," or "In God we trust," which God are you talking about? Now, if it's a God of confusion, then it's a God of a curse. So that money would be cursed. Going to the digital dollar, it is cursed. The internet's cursed. Well, we don't want to think that away. Yeah, it's cursed. More spells are cast on this medium called the internet than ever in human history. And when you have so many voices being spoken out in such a manner to where you've now converted those voices into frequencies, harmonies, vibrations that are now bombarding the complete sphere of this planet and anything outside of it, you have total confusion, chaos. Is chaos a curse? How do you make wise decisions in a midst of confusion, chaos? Yeah. And if it's not human, then what is it? Is it a demon? Is it a fallen angel? Or is it the true manifestation of this very God that we've been talking about, that apparently can't figure out what it is? It seems to be more hell-bent on punishing. Seems to have a real sicko, kind of like sadomasochism. It seems to be really into that, different thing. Most of us would go, it appears into that. So I ask you, intelligent beings, how do we reverse this curse? We're under it. I do everything I can in what I know. So this being that cursed us, cursed the ground, cursed the feminine. I mean, we should be out in the streets, declaring freedom from this bondage, this curse of God. Because we're going down. We are. 2024, the way it's shaping up, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be ugly. Seems like the curse is being pushed to manifest in manners that haven't been seen in millennia, maybe tens of millennia. There seems to be something, though, that revisits our kind. We're never allowed to get beyond a certain pinnacle. We're not. And watch the movie. Something's going on. And that may be the biggest threat to this thing, whatever it is, existence. As this message goes out and begins to take on and morph into other types, it carries within it the same frequency. It's that frequency of awakening. Now, that could be the biggest problem of all. And I'm not talking what the world perceives as an awakening. I mean, folks, this is the type of stuff that you find out all the spells, all the genres, the hierarchies. You learn all of this. And it comes down to this. Why would they interact with a cursed species? If you take the story, it would appear that this curse thing, this force, this power exists in the ethereal realm. It appears that it exists in a lot of other realms. Now think about this. Why would they want to have anything to do with us? Why would a demon want to have anything to do with a cursed mortal being? More importantly, is the demon in rebellion against the curse God? Then that would make a demon our friend and an angel our enemy. I love this. I'm reading the chat room a little bit. So I think I do have a particular, I don't know if it's a way out, maybe. Many of us are already aware of this. And when I said to this morning to this individual, particularly about which God, and got into that and went, woof, I mean, you should have seen that. But then when it really blew them away is when I told them that I'm a God and that they are too. Yeah. The circuit board just kind of went, So El Gupo, is it Gupo? Gapo, excuse me. How are you? Good to see you. And I'm just looking at this thing going, okay, obviously I'm not the first human to ever see this, right? I'm certainly not alone, and there seems to be more adding to the number all the time. So I'm going, Now, if I was the oppressor, the one that started this curse, and I see these humans starting to get together and going, hey, listen, if it can use it on us, we can use it on it. But, and the pain, the suffering, and all that crap, no. I'm willing to go with the fact that, well, what did it say? They're now like us, knowing good and evil, that, and that brings in the whole construct. Then why the hell was there evil? I mean, it seems like we were like the new kids on the galactic plane. And here we have this thing that the supposed perfect God seems to have rebellion all around it. I mean, apparently there was this war before we ever came around. What the hell is that about? Something ain't right. Lucy, you got some explaining to do. So I'm thinking, all right, so maybe there is that way. We've talked about it before, but so I have this book that I think we've covered it here before. And it's an interesting book. It's calling Becoming a Living God. And this is an interesting book because it shows that no matter how you look at magic, no matter how you look at your belief system, the fact that it's created within you, within your construct of your thought, that's godlike, if not being an actual God. But if you were told all your life, taught by others who were taught by others that there's no such thing as a human God, well, if you ever heard the topic taught, it would be very alien to you. It would be most so often the antithesis of what your core belief systems are. But what if it's just that? No judgment when you leave here. You're a fucking God. But if you don't know that, then you're going to be like the poor woman who died, a pauper, broke, in abject poverty, having the equivalency of over $1 billion. You know, the saddest part of that is she never got to enjoy any of it, but everything else fed off of it. So if you're a God, well, I don't care how long you may have thought of that, but you've never been taught that you were a God. In fact, you've been taught how limited you are. You've been taught that you cannot ascend. You've been taught that you have been placed here against your will, completely evading what the truth is. We're gods. The universe on this plane is endless. There is no ending to it. And there's no ending to the number of gods. There's not enough gods. That's the problem. Because you had a few that were just like us. Maybe not in this form, but they're just like us, who came through the same portal we did and somehow thought that they were better than us. They set up a separate kingdom, separate power structure, a certain way that it has to be. But that was just the curse. There is no God greater than yourself. Never will be, never has been. But if you have not been taught to be a God, you don't know how to act as a God. Now, it's getting a little late. We won't, but we'll get back into this probably on Wednesday, because I want to start going through this, that this is a powerful book. It's one, if you haven't have it, you should get it. But we're going to talk, oh, right there. It's like, okay, what happened to that? But I believe it's just the simple truth. None of us have been taught how to be a God. But goddess, we haven't been. We've been taught just the opposite. That a mortal can never be a God. A mortal doesn't care. God doesn't care if it's immortal or immortal. It's God. Nina, you asked what book that is. It is Becoming a Living God by E.A. Keating. As I look at everyone in the chat room, it's a hard belief. Paula says, defying God. Look in the mirror. You may not have the recall cognitively of everything, but you've been taught that way. We all have. We've been taught how to be limited. We've been taught that to expect little, but to endure much. That this somehow is refining of us. That's not the agenda. But the fact is, the vast majority of people, even the few that will watch this, will never believe it. Why, it's even sometimes for myself, it's still a contrarian thought. I feel somehow unworthy to call myself a God. Our modern psychology within the psychic would say, well, that's almost delusional. implying that somehow academia knows what God is. But yet, if you watch the movie, you find out something. Could it be just that? If you started teaching a species that they were gods, I wonder how many generations it would take before you start seeing abilities start manifesting. Individuals that have the ability to become the dream walkers, individuals that become the master alchemist, beginning to manifest substance in almost in a way that we have no idea about. And as subsequent generations were continually taught that they are God, a part of a much larger structure. I wonder how quickly we could reverse this curse. Wonder how quickly we could begin to heal the planet. I wonder how quickly we could begin to heal our species. Because it's true, we are the gods. We don't need religion to teach us what our morality is. We don't need religion to tell us that we're not worthy. We don't need politics to tell us what is the right side of anything. Who knows? Paula says, people worship God. I have no desire to be worshiped. And isn't that interesting? And as we continue on this and go down this road, we're going to revisiting some of the NDEs that have happened. And there is apparently a presence outside of this one that is not this one, has no desire to be worshiped. No God wants to be worshiped. And if a God demands worship, it's no God. No God is above you. And there's no God below you. It's a simple doctrine. In fact, the make-believe Jesus, if you actually read his words, it's exactly what he said. He says, did I not tell ye that ye are gods? I ain't going to believe that. Yeah. Guy is right. Act as if. Yeah, exactly. Peter, you're welcome. So, hey, Deborah. Aaron, good to see you. So, anyway, we're going to talk more about it. We'll talk about it tomorrow. If we could start accepting the mere possibility that each of us are a God, it begins to put it into a different context, doesn't it? Yeah. Anyway, I'm just reading some of this. This is really good. Wow. Yeah. Elderberg says the divine worship itself, we don't need to add to the obliviated mindset. Like that. Where is Scotty Boy? I don't know. Where is Scotty Boy? Hey, Brian, what's up? Well, thank you, sir. Right back at it. Grace, you're welcome. I do too. It makes me look at things maybe a little different. And I'm not saying that, it is the cure for all of our woes and ills, but I don't know. If we were to gather together and give thanks that we as gods got to meet other gods, wow. I don't know if that's the welcome mat, but it's certainly like Bob Bodette said, we'll keep the light on. I mean, yeah. Jules, you're right. Choose your words wisely, as gods do. They should. Nina, I think that would be interesting to have him on. Yeah, I think so. Love to be able to talk to, I love the construct. Yeah. Rage Against the Machine. Right back at you. Lady Ellie, thank you. I love this group. Ball Joe, peace. Truth Seeker, what's up? Scotty Boy is still here. Okay. Good, good. Goddess, how are you? Elevate yourself. Yeah. Uh-huh. I like that. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It seemed to me a very nice alternative to what I see happening now. I mean, why would I want to hurt another God? They have something that I need, something I could be taught. Because I don't think it all comes to us like that. There's nothing, there's no profit in that. I use profit in probably a bad word, but in a wrong context. But I think that we enjoy, it's not the struggle. Maybe it is the struggle, but it's definitely an adventure and a journey. All right, Lost in Space, right back at you. Thank you, Blazing Rivers. So everyone, Drums, how are you doing? Good to see you. Monkey Experiment. So we'll talk more about it with the ladies tomorrow. With Jenny, I just saw that she posted some videos. And with Miss Trina, I think it's going to be interesting. Yeah. I get in the presence of those two, you get kind of humbled, It's like, yeah. All right. Much love to everybody until we see each other on the other side.